Greetings, this is the Crunchy Vet, and by demand by the polls I put up, today I will be doing What If Female Deku was the Behemoth from Trevor Henderson. Now, I've been working on this What If for a bit, with Mordred What Ifs, so this is technically a collab video. So, we had come up, though he initially came up with the idea, I'd kept it in storage for a while, and then I put it up on the polls, and we had also come up with some plot points, and he asked me if I could put in a original character for him, which I did. So, we have Izumi as the behemoth from Trevor Henderson's stories, and her abilities are, she's basically immortal, so she doesn't age whatsoever, and she's immune to conventional weaponry. She can change sizes. This isn't a power possessed by the behemoth, but I added it in for plot reasons. She has an ultrasonic roar, and she is quite strong and quite fast for her size. And that's all the abilities I remember. And her normal state is around 800 kilometers long. Tall, I mean, which is how tall the behemoth is in canon. So this is how she appears to everyone else, but she appears like this normally. And then we have her friend, aka Mordred's original character. He didn't come up with a name, so I did come up with a name. Lilith, who is a Nergigante, who is about 500 kilometers tall. So she's about 300 kilometers shorter than Izumi. And she is Izumi's best friend. So, anyway, continuing. So, we open up on the ocean, just outside of Japan, as a large creature begins to emerge from the water. This being Izumi. As Izumi rises out from the water, as she would stand up straight, as she would stretch her arms out, as she would say, "God, it's been ages. We've been underwater for so long." As Lilith would pop out of the water, as she would say, I agree. We've been in there for way too long." As Izumi would ask her, why didn't you fly then, since you're capable of it? As Lilith would say, I can only do that for a short amount of time, right? It takes a lot of energy to do that. As Lilith would continue saying, I get that we're both agents of God. This is actually really canon to the behemoth, and Mordred added this to his character as well. They are both agents of God. That's not a joke. Look at the behemoth lore. It's in there. As she'd say, I get we're both agents of God, but we're not all we don't have infinite energy, Izumi. Why do you think you kill and eat all those titans that we came across? And Izumi would say, "Don't." Yeah, tell me about it. We literally encountered a giant crab one now in there, in the water. Took ages to kill it. As Lilith would say, "So, this is Japan, right?" As Izumi would say, "Yeah, this is Japan. We are here to judge the people. We're here just for observation. There we go." As Lilith would say, "Well, just don't go about roaring like you do normally, because the last time you did that sent the animals into a frenzy and it nearly wiped out an entire village." As Izumi would snap it back at her and say, "It was a one-time thing, and it was an accident." As Lilith would say, "I know, I just wanted to tease you about it." As Izumi would immediately go pale, as she realized that she didn't get the joke. As Izumi say, alright, let's continue moving then. As Lilith would say, so it turns out the humans have developed these abilities called quirks for the past couple centuries. And they're basically sort of like powerful abilities that could possibly give them an advantage over us. As Izumi would say, well, it's a good thing that we are quite tough to deal with, aren't we? As Lilith would say, yeah, you're right, give me a minute. Anyway, continuing forward. As Izumi, once they are currently behind like some large rocks right now. Actually, they're still quite far from Japan. As Izumi and Lilith would begin to shrink down to about human size and put on some clothes that they had with them. So they do have like specialized areas for Izumi's back spikes and her tail, and Lilith does for her tail and wings, along with her arm spikes. As they would say, as Lilith would say, so this is Japan right now. Huh, it's still quite similar to the last time we saw it. As Izumi would say, yeah, it hasn't really changed much. But I'm still wondering if the culture is any different than the last time we visited. As they would turn around and say, the last time we visited was, how long ago? It was about a couple hundred years ago when that guy was in power. What was his name? All for done? As Izumi would say, all for one. As Lilith would say, yeah, right. I just wanted to get digging at the guy. See, because if he's still around, then that's kind of a problem. As Izumi would say, yeah, that would be a bit of a problem, now wouldn't it? As they would continue to walk through the streets of Japan, as Izumi and Lilith would begin to think, the culture hasn't really changed much. It's still the same old place. It's actually quite nice. There's no villains running about, so that's a good thing. As they would see a loud explosion, as they would run over and see a boy, this boy being Katsuki Bakugo, trapped in the sludge villain. As they would go to try and help them, as Death Arms would stop them and say, "Stay back, kid. Stay back. That villain's dangerous, and that boy is stuck, been taken hostage." And Izumi would say, "And you're not going to help him because," as Death Arms would say, "our quirks aren't suited for this type of situation." As Izumi would say, "So you're telling me that you're not even going to at least make an attempt to try and rescue the boy's life?" "Yeah, no, you're getting out of my way." As when Izumi walks past him, Death Arms tries to grab her by the shoulder and yelling, "Hey, stop!" As Lilith would smack Death Arms' hand away, as she would say, "Don't touch her." Now, hold on. Sorry about that. As I was saying, I did see the pole, so the ship is still aged up Aerie, so relax, she's not the ship, they're just best friends. As Izumi would continue walking over to the sludge villain, and so would Lilith, as the sludge villain would say, two more hostages, just what I needed. As the sludge villain would go to try and attack Izumi and Lilith, with Izumi grabbing the sludge villain, as the sludge villain realizes that he can't get out. And you guys might be wondering, how can the sludge villain not get out when he's made out of liquid? Well, see, due to the behemoth being an agent of God, they have abilities, and this is just my canon for this one, for this what if. The behemoths can all the behemoths can technically grab the can grab any of the quirk users, no matter their body's consistency. They always maintain a grip on them. As Izumi would say, if you think you're going to try that, you are poorly mistaken. As Lilith would jump up and get Bakugo out of the sludge villain and get out of the way by flying, as Izumi would let out an ultrasonic roar, which would cause the sludge villain to basically begin to go splat. As this would also put out the fires. As Izumi would then drop the part of the sludge villain that she was holding, as she would look at the sludge villain with sheer disgust, as she'd begin to wipe her hands off. As yeah, a bunch of people go up to try and get some information off of them. As Izumi would raise her hand up in the air, as Lilith would grab her arm as they would both fly off. As Lilith and Izumi would think to themselves, that was way too close. We need to be as Lilith would think, Izumi needs to be more careful because we nearly got revealed there. Who knows, that kid could have been the descendant of that kid who'd seen her the first time. Because who knows, maybe that kid has a picture of her. As Izumi and Lilith would land in an alleyway, as Lilith would begin to start panting from exhaustion, as she'd say, "That is way too close for comfort. You need to be more careful next time." As Izumi would say, "Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry." As they would begin to move through the alleyway, as they see a girl who looks about how they look. So I'm going to say that since you're at the college, both Izumi and Lilith look around 18 years old. As Izumi would kneel down, as she'd say, "Hey, are you okay?" As she would begin to pat this girl on her shoulder, as she would flinch and as she'd say, "Don't hurt me." As Izumi would pull her hand away, as she'd say, "Why would I want to hurt you? Anyway, what's your name?" As the girl would say, "My name's Eri. I just got away from a man who was using my blood to create a drug that can erase quirks." As Izumi and Lilith are enraged by this because this is basically a man trying to toy with nature and turn it into a weapon. As Lilith and Izumi are basically sort of like containing their rage, as they would hear footsteps, as this man would say, "Ah, I see you have found my daughter." And that is where I'm going to end this part off. I do hope you guys enjoy Behemoth Deku, because me and Mordred have worked really hard on this what if. So if you're wondering why he asked me to do this instead of him doing it himself, or why we're not both recording this, it's because Mordred doesn't have a proper recording setup. So I will be doing the recording, and we'll be coming up with a story as it goes along. Anyway, I hope you like this, and I will see you all tomorrow with Goddess of the Void, which won the second poll. So, see ya!